Right boys, so I'm recording a video to help you with area of non-right angled triangles, right, for your work today. It's another bit of our trigonometry unit that we're doing at the moment. So here we are. So we're going to work out the area of this triangle, okay? Well, we all know the formula for the area of a triangle. It is this one, half base times height, isn't it? You all know that formula. The trouble is, we haven't got a base and a height for this right angled triangle. You could say 8 is the base, but if 8 is the base, the height certainly isn't 7. The height would kind of be this length here, right, which I'm not going to draw in, be the perpendicular length there. So this formula isn't really that useful to us. Thankfully, there is another formula, and that's what we're going to be learning today. Okay, so it's this formula here. Area equals a half AB sin C. Okay, now let's have a quick look at that formula. We've got 3 letters in there. 2 of them are lowercase letters, and that one might not be obvious, but that's supposed to be an uppercase letter. So that's an angle, and that should make sense because you can't sine or cos a length, you can only sine, cos or tan an angle. So that is angle C, and these are sides A and B. Okay, well, this triangle isn't labelled at all, so I could label it. If we need angle C, that will be this angle here, which means this is side C. And angle A and B could be, that could be angle A, that could be angle B. Would make this side A and this side B. But to be honest, this doesn't matter, okay? And I'll explain why it doesn't matter in a minute. Let's put A there, let's put B there. This way we've got A, B, C clockwise around the triangle. If that's angle B, this will be side B. And if this is angle A here, this will be side A here. So I want you to notice the positions of A, B and angle C. Look, A is here, B is here, and C is the angle between those 2 sides. Okay, so what's happening here is you've got 2 sides and the angle between them. Okay, and we've got exactly that information in this diagram. I'm going to come back to that point in a minute, okay? But let's work out the area of this triangle first. So, a half multiplied by A, well, I've said A is 8. And then multiplied by B, which I've said is 7, and then multiplied by sin C, and C is 48. So there's the working, and that's all what you need to write down when you're doing your work. Now let's get the calculator, somewhere where you can see what I'm typing in. Okay, here we go. So it's at an angle. A half times 8 times 7 times sin 48. Just check you're in degree mode, which we are, before we press equals. And there it is, 20.8. What unit did I use? Centimeters, so it's centimeters squared. So that's that one done. Okay, now I'm going to get rid of this piece of paper in a second to show you a bit more about what I was talking about the 2 sides and the angle between them. But if you want to, in fact, well, not if you want to, I think it's good for you to please copy this in your book. Okay, I'm just going to move that down. So please copy this in your book before you do any of the questions I've sent you. I want to say a little bit more though about this before we stop and get on with the work. So I want you to remember I said 2 sides and the angle between them. Now there's a good reason why I'm saying that. Let's just draw a different looking triangle like this. And I'm going to label this up A, B, C, and now I'm going to give you this angle here, and we'll say this is 38 degrees, and I'm going to give you 10 meters, and let's say this is 14 meters. Now then, we're going to work out the area of this triangle. Okay, here's the formula that we've just been introduced to, half AB sin C. Let's label the sides. Opposite angle B is side B, so that's there. Opposite angle C is side C. Opposite angle A is side A. So we've got a bit of a problem because although we've got side A, we haven't got side B. Okay? Then the deal here is the letters that they've used here are not as important as you might think. What we really need to recognise is that these are two sides and this is the angle between them. And we've got exactly that here. We've got two sides and we've got the angle between them. So I'm going to write down the alternative versions of this formula. So here's an alternate version. A and C are there and there, and the angle between those two sides is B. And that's the one we're going to be using. Before I actually use it, there's another option. There's this option. Okay, so those are all three perfectly workable formulae for the area of this triangle. They would all work. It's just that for this triangle we happen to know side A, side C and angle B, so we're going to be using this version. But you'll only ever see this one here, you know, in textbooks and in formula books. Okay, so I wanted to make a bit of a deal that it doesn't have to be A, B, C. It could be A, C, B, B, C, A. Okay, or if you've got a triangle labelled up with completely different letters, you might possibly sometimes use this. PQR. I mean, I'm using 3 consecutive letters of the alphabet, just like A, B and C are. Okay, so this would work as long as we've got lowercase p and q, and then this is the angle opposite the missing side, if you like. Okay, which is probably labelled R. Anyway, so we said we were going to use this one, so let's use it. I'm going to do it up here, I think. Oh no, I'll do it by the side here so that we can see everything. So the area equals, I'm going to have to write it underneath, 1/2 times by 14 times by 10 times by sine of 38. I'm squeezing that in a little bit there, boys. 0.5 times by 14 times by 10 times by sine 38. And it's 43.1 meters squared. Okay, so there we go. So just before I stop, let's show you a couple of situations where you wouldn't have enough information. I'm going to draw these freehand. You couldn't work out the area of that triangle as it is because you don't have two sides and the angle between them. You'd need to know either that, so that you had 9 and 7 and the angle between them, or you'd need to know this and then you'd have two sides and this angle between them. Okay, so that one is not possible. Something else that's perhaps not possible is if you had this. That looks like 102 to me. Let's say that was 30, and let's put this here. You couldn't possibly work out the area of this triangle because although you can work this out, this is 132, so we're missing 48. You know, you still haven't got two sides. You need two sides and the angle between them to work it out. Okay, let's pretend we have this though. Similar example really. This one, although you don't have two sides and the angle between them, you could work it out because you can use these two angles to get that one. 110 plus 20 is 130. We're missing 50 degrees. So you could use these 3 bits of information here. Okay, and that, you know, you've got two sides and the angle between them, so you know you can use that to work out the angle, the area. Sorry. That's the end of the video. I hope you find this useful. So make sure you show your working just like I did in my very first question and in the example you've written down. I want you to draw the shapes out. You don't need to draw them accurately. They can look nothing like 48 degrees. I don't really mind. Just draw a random triangle and put the numbers on and then show your working here. You don't need to obviously write this out. Okay, it probably would be worth you writing all of that down for each question, please. Certainly do it for at least the first 3 questions. After that you can skip the top line and just write these 2 lines of working. Okay, off we go.